Welcome to Take a Timeout with Dustin Sullivan, a production of the Can Do Group. Can Do Group is a 501c3 nonprofit provider of services for adults with developmental disabilities and is pleased to bring you this podcast. Today, Dustin's guest is Coach Jim Rucki. Jim grew up in Amsterdam, Ohio, near Steubenville, Ohio, and attended Springfield High School. He attended Muskingum College and received a bachelor's degree in history. Jim played baseball while attending Muskingum College. Coach Rucki has been the head basketball coach at Findlay High School for 24 seasons and has the most wins in Findlay High School school history. Before we start with the podcast, we usually have a trivia question of the week. And Jim Rucki is actually going to give us that trivia question.
I have hundreds of trivia questions, but I'll give one that I favorite one I used to give my students, and that is what city in the United States by population is the largest city named after a president? Okay, what city named after a president is the largest in the United States?
No, you can't answer it yet.
By population.
We'll come back to that
Okay,
answer.
yep.
Everybody think about it for a while, and we'll find out the answer in a little bit.
I know what it is.
Okay, fine.
Pretty sure.
It's gonna bug Dustin if we don't try to
I'm gonna
answer
say,
it now.
Is it Grover, Cleveland?
No,
It's not Cleveland.
it's not Cleveland.
Okay.
Cleveland wasn't named after President Cleveland.
Everybody mark that off of your list. It's not Cleveland. So we will find out the answer in a couple more minutes. Okay. So to Dustin and take a timeout with Dustin Sullivan.
Congratulations on being the winningest coach in Findlay High School basketball.
Thank you. It just means
It's an honor.
I'm getting old, I guess.
Where did you grow up originally?
I grew up in Amsterdam, Ohio. It's just a little town, about down to probably 500 people now, but
Oh, wow.
a little bit bigger than that when I grew up in the Ohio Valley near Steubenville.
It's Steubenville. Is it around Cincinnati area?
No. It's on the eastern side of the state, right across the river from West Virginia.
Oh, West Virginia is a nice place.
Yeah.
What sports did you play as a kid?
I love sports, that's for sure. I played all sports that I could play. In high school, I played 2 years of football and then 4 years of basketball and baseball.
Football's a little brutal
Yeah.
times, but it's fun. What made you pick?
Muskingum
What made you pick Muskingum College?
I'm not really sure. I guess looking back so far, a long time ago, I had a coach on my American Legion baseball team that was his son worked at Muskingum College and was involved with baseball there, and I had some other people from my area that were going to go to Muskingum, and just thought it was a good place.
That's cool. Where is it actually located?
It is located in New Concord, Ohio. It's pretty much in the center of the state, a little bit east, about an hour east of Columbus. It's the home of John Glenn, the first American to orbit the Earth astronaut.
John Glenn, he's a good guy.
Yep.
We read somewhere that you coached at Rocky River before Findlay.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Rocky River?
Rocky River is a western suburb of Cleveland, right on Lake Erie, right on the lake. Just
Beautiful
a little bit beautiful community, very nice community.
And you coached?
I coached basketball and baseball there.
Okay.
Basketball for 10 years and baseball for 13.
That's
I actually became a head baseball coach before basketball.
Right, because you started in baseball in
Yeah.
college.
Yeah.
So what switched you over to basketball?
I always wanted to coach basketball.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even though I was a baseball player. and wanted to be a pro baseball player. But I knew that I wanted to be, I wanted to be a history teacher and coach basketball. So ended up doing both.
What was the most memorable about winning your first game at Rocky River?
My first game was against Richmond Heights High School. That's a eastern suburb of Cleveland, and I guess the thing I remember the most about that is just how nervous I was. My heart was beating out of my chest.
I'd be nervous too.
And that's what we won, and it's been smooth sailing since then for the most part, I guess.
If you could go anywhere in the world or on a dream vacation, where would it be?
Oh boy, I don't fly, so that limits me. But my wife and I are actually planning to take a cruise to Europe someday, and I would love to go to Normandy.
Cool place.
Yeah.
You know what? Before we go to the next question, maybe we should get the answer to that trivia question, since we're talking about geographical areas.
Okay.
Since we're trying to figure out,
After I thought about it, I realized what it was.
what is it?
It's Madison, Wisconsin.
Not Madison.
Ah.
Not Madison.
There's more
Yeah.
names of presidents.
Yeah, there are. But
I'm trying to think of a big.
What were you thinking, Alex?
Sorry?
What do you think the answer is?
Jefferson City, Missouri.
Not Jefferson City, Missouri.
So that's my only guess.
Yep.
Dang.
The answer, the largest city by population in the United States named after a president is Jacksonville, Florida.
Wow.
Jacksonville,
I would never guess
Florida.
that.
Jacksonville.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
have, I wouldn't have
It's
gone.
named after Andrew
Jackson.
Jackson. Yep.
I forgot about Andrew
Yeah.
Jackson.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
You have been coaching over 20 years at Findlay. What made you decide in taking a job in Findlay?
Well, when I was at Rocky River, our football coach there was Bill Jones, and Bill had come to Rocky River in the late 80s, but he spent 10 years early in his career from the mid-70s to the mid-80s at Findlay High School. So I got, he was kind of, when he came to Rocky River, I was a young coach, just starting my career. He was kind of a mentor for me, and he talked a lot about his time in Findlay, and it was a great community and so forth. And so when I was at the state basketball tournament just as a spectator in 1999, I ran into a guy that said, and he kind of knew I was looking maybe to move on from Rocky River. I just wanted to get out of the suburbs, and a friend of mine told me that the basketball job was open at Findlay High School. So I went back and talked to Bill about it, and he said, you need to go after that job. And he said that would be a great place for you to go. And I had 4 young kids at that time, and he said it'd be a great place, and I applied for the job and got it.
That's
and
awesome.
the rest is history.
Yeah.
What is your favorite restaurant in Findlay, Ohio?
Oh boy, I like Texas Roadhouse. I mean, my wife will kill me for saying that. Probably it's a chain kind of a
Yeah,
thing. But
yeah.
boy, when I first came here, I used to love Miller's Luncheonette on Main Street.
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
love Miller's.
Yeah.
I'm pretty basic when it comes to food. I get the same thing.
The good old steak and potato.
Yeah, wherever I go, I get the same thing every time. So I'm not don't have a lot of expertise on restaurants and stuff like that.
I love Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
I like their chili and I like their biscuit bread because
Oh yeah.
they put the maple butter on
Yeah,
there.
yeah. The bread is good.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Are you a social studies teacher?
I taught history for about 35 years. I retired. I actually retired about 8 years ago, and then rehired and taught just a half a day advanced placement history, and then stopped doing that a few years ago. I'm still in the building every day. I'm not teaching history anymore, but I'm in the building, and I do I actually run the in-school suspension.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's can be interesting sometimes.
There's a lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
You created a book of history of Findlay basketball. What made you write it? What was the most interesting thing you learned when researching the book?
Well, when I was at Rocky River, I just being a history guy, I like to have, records, and when I was there, we had a kid score 42 points in a game. So we had that put in the paper. He broke the school record, and a couple days after that was in the paper, an old timer who had gone to Rocky River, in the 40s or 50s, contacted me and said, that's not the school record. We had a guy score 48 points in the 1940s. Well, I didn't know that. So it made me go back and research then and try to get the records to be accurate.
Right.
And then when I came to Findlay, I thought, well, I'm going to do the same thing. I want to get the records to be accurate. So I started researching some of the records and so forth, and then I realized, this was about 2003, I guess, after I'd been here a couple of years, I realized that like the next year or 2 years from then was going to be the 100th year of
Wow.
Findlay basketball.
It's crazy.
So I thought, well, I'm going to just put something together to kind of commemorate the 100th year and get some records and stuff. And I started working on that, and it just got bigger and bigger, and I got deeper and deeper, and ended up, turning it into a book
Pretty cool.
for a 100th season.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What was we kind of threw a couple
Oh,
questions
okay.
there. What was the most interesting thing you learned when researching for the book?
Well, I guess that is something I was going to give at the end on my
on the
interesting
fact of the week.
Yeah.
Well, let's hit that.
So,
What's the fact of the week?
okay.
What's the fact of the
Well,
week?
okay, so that fact of the week, which is the most interesting thing I found in researching my book, is that we had a coach, a basketball coach at Findlay. He was the head coach for only one season in 1927.
Okay.
And when I was researching for my book, I did little bios on all of the coaches. And I found out information on some of these guys that coached in 1910, 1915, etc., through obituaries. And I could not find anything on this guy. He had been the head coach only 1 year in 1927. And about 2 weeks before I was going to get the book off to the publisher, it was November 11th. I remember the date was because it was Veterans Day, and I was reading the Toledo Blade, and here in that paper there was an article about this guy
What?
that I could not find any information on.
Okay.
And the reason that I couldn't find any information on him is because, and I couldn't find an obituary and so forth, is because he wasn't dead. And the article in the Blade was about him. He was 107 years old, and he was one of the last living World War I veterans in the United States. He ended up living to be, his name was Russell Coffey. He was a teacher here in Findlay schools. He was a head basketball coach for 1 year. He ended up living to be 109, and he was one of the last 10 or so living World War I veterans in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder why he only did 1 year. Do you think it was because he went off to war? Or something,
No.
or-
He wasn't really a sports guy, I don't think. They just got him to coach basketball that year. And then he ended up leaving Findlay City Schools, and he became a professor at BGSU.
Okay.
But yeah, this guy that coached Findlay basketball was one of the last living World War I veterans.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Keep well, let's make
Russell
it up.
Coffey.
What do you-
What are your hobbies now that the history of Findlay basketball book is finished?
I still loved researching history. I know you had Ron Ammons on. He and I worked
Yeah.
together a little
Yeah.
bit. I don't know if he told you, but we've researched and we put together a little pamphlet, and we got a Roger Powell, our Findlay High School alumni director, used funds from the Alumni Association to pay for a memorial board that we put up in the wall in the school that has the names of every Findlay student who has been killed in the military.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Where's that at?
It's in what is called the Great Hall now, kind of
Okay.
near the cafeteria and the
What used to be the glass
auditorium.
hallway?
What used to be the glass
Okay.
hallway? No. What used to be the courtyard area, the open area
Right,
between
right,
there. Yeah,
okay.
and it's close to the auditorium entrance.
Okay.
But we have probably 15 or so names from World War I, 45 or 50
Wow.
Findlay students who were killed in World War II. A handful from Korea, a handful from Vietnam. So we, research that. I always find something to research.
Okay.
I know Mr. Powell. He's
Okay.
a great guy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
When do you start practices up for the season?
We start this coming Friday,
wow.
October 28th, which happens to be my birthday too. So.
Oh, happy
Yeah,
birthday.
thank you. But yeah, we start this Friday. We're getting ready and see what the season brings us.
That's awesome. Do you have any pregame routines?
Yeah, I am a creature of habit. I am superstitious. I do the same thing every time, every game. I told my players one time that at the beginning of the season, the first day of our first game, I went to shave and ran out of shaving cream. So I used soap. I got just soap and left it on get it all good and foamy, and put it on there and shaved, and we won. And I shaved with soap the rest of the season.
That's awesome.
Every day.
I'm probably gotta be like,
Soap is what was the reason.
I'm just crazy with that kind of stuff.
I know how it is. I have routines when I watch every Buckeye game.
Yeah.
I have to have a necklace on, and I gotta wear a Buckeye, ring my Buckeye bell, and wear the right color shirts at home.
Yeah, that's me for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have any life motto, or do you have any life mottos or quotes to inspire your players?
Boy, yeah, I try to find all kind of things. A couple simple ones we've had put on shirts. No excuses, just keep plugging away. You can't worry about, other things that you can't control, and people blame games on the referees and this and that. And if you blame then you're just getting away from what you can control and what you need to do to get better. We're big on saying all the time, be a great teammate. We want our guys to be great teammates, and we've got a ton of things that we talk about like that. But I think those are two big ones.
I need to take that advice to a grain of salt, because I need to stop getting frustrated with officiating.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I do. I just need to work on it.
Yeah.
That's a good example.
Right.
How do you motivate your team to beat a number one ranked Lima Senior team in the mid 2000s?
Well, we don't need a whole lot of motivation when we play Lima. I don't think we don't get along too well, and we've had some battles with them. Our guys, I always tell people, and it's good that we play, that they bring out the best in us. I think our guys really rise to the occasion. We played them early in January, right after the first rankings came out, and I was so happy when they came out and were ranked number one, because I thought, okay, this is our chance, and this is just going to add a little more incentive for our guys, and teams get ranked high in the state. Sometimes they're, that'd be a nightmare for me, for my, because the kids get a little overconfident.
Right.
They had a big game the next night against Akron St. Vincent St. Mary's. That's LeBron's high school. Now he wasn't playing there, but they were still really good. And I just had a feeling that they might be overlooking us and looking forward to that Akron St. Vincent St. Mary's game. And our guys were going to be really ready since they had just been ranked number one, and we got off to a great start in that game, and everything just went smoothly. It was almost like the perfect storm of a great night for us.
That's awesome.
Because Lima Senior had a legendary Buckeye basketball player, Butler.
Oh, Jamar Butler, yeah.
For your first year at Finley, you coached Ben Roethlisberger in basketball. Do you personally think Ben was a better football player or basketball player?
Well, it'd be hard to say that he was better in basketball than football, the way things turned out. But
the way things turned out, but
at the time, before he played quarterback that senior year, that was my first year, so I didn't see Ben before that. But everybody told me that basketball was his favorite sport. He really, and he was good. He really, if he wouldn't have blown up, as they say, in football, he would have gone somewhere and played college basketball. He was really good, and he always came back. He still, when he was at Miami or even with the Steelers, he would come back sometimes in the summer.
Do that basketball thing.
Play at open gym. He
Really?
loves basketball.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting because you started out kind of with a different sport and ended up in basketball.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I could see basketball being his love.
No, he loved it. Yeah.
So are you still in touch with him?
Not too much. We see him once in a while. Obviously, not only with him moving to Pittsburgh, living there, but his parents then moved to Pittsburgh maybe 10 years ago or so. So he doesn't come back. He doesn't have the reason to come back as much. He came back at the end of last season. I forget why he came back, but I saw him for a few minutes. But and he's been involved in a couple other things, some charity games and things like that.
We've been trying to get him to do a podcast with us.
Yeah.
I think Ben Roethlisberger's mom get, his real mom die in a fire or something?
It might have been a car accident. I don't know.
Because I know.
But his stepmom Brenda's a wonderful lady.
She worked at the Y.
She worked at the Y, yeah.
A lot of people give him a bad rap, but he's not really that bad a guy like people think he is.
Oh no, he was a good kid in high school, and he's got a good family right now. That's for sure.
He's a good father.
Yep.
And a good leader. He was always a big fan of mine, the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
If he could have any superpower as a coach, what would it be?
Boy, oh boy. I actually talked to our guys about this, that if I could wave a magic wand and make you into a great shooter, I would do that, but I can't.
I wish.
So that means you have to do it on your own. You have to put work in to become better.
Yeah.
If I could do it, I would, but I can't. So it's all up to you.
It's like the bewitched superpower or the pixie dust or something.
Yeah.
A little bit of magic in them.
If you didn't earn playing basketball, it wouldn't be fun.
Right. That's for sure.
What is your all-time favorite candy bar?
Oh boy. It's between three, I guess, but I would say Reese Cup probably.
That's my favorite.
All right.
I expect to get a lot of Reese Cups when your players do something wrong now.
Now for the famous final question. Do you consider a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
And why do you not? What's the reason behind that?
I don't know. It's a hot dog. It's not a sandwich.
That's what I thought.
And I am a hot dog aficionado. I eat a lot of hot dogs.
What's your favorite? What toppings? What
Just ketchup, a little bit of mustard, and some onion.
Okay.
But I go to a lot of baseball games. You know, Notre Dame game Saturday. I get hot dogs. I love concession stand hot dogs at games.
I eat a lot of Skyline chili dogs.
Oh, I love Skyline chili.
Oh, the best.
That was a debate for my favorite rep, but Findlay doesn't have Skyline chili.
We used to have one.
Yeah, I love Five Guys hot dogs. Are tremendous.
Oh,
I've had those.
Yeah,
I'll have to try
they
it.
are really good. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for taking a time out with Dustin Sullivan today. It was nice getting to know you, and we hope everyone else enjoyed getting to know a little bit about you too.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for your time. It was a good
fun.
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
You're gonna say that's all, folks.
That's all, folks. Beauty.
Thank you for joining today's podcast of Take a Time Out with Dustin Sullivan, a production of Can Do Group. This podcast is made possible by the support of local businesses and community members like you. Thank you. Want to be part of the action? You can help Can Do Group continue supporting adults with developmental disabilities by donating at www.candogroup.org.